Hey, what's up guys? James here, and the NBA is back. After nearly 5 months, the NBA is making its return finally. And guys, we're going to be in for the most insane season finale to an NBA season that we have ever seen. Today, let's take a look at who has the best odds of winning the 2020 NBA championship. Guys, make sure to like the video, comment down below, and hit that subscribe button to keep you informed and up to date for all of my future videos if you like sports. So as all of you already know, 2020 has been a crazy year for obvious reasons. We all know what's going on. And it feels like it's been absolutely years since we've seen an NBA basketball game. The NBA was actually able to come up with the bubble idea so that they could finish the season down in Orlando at their facilities at ESPN Disney. They've created a bubble, an entire area for the NBA players, staff, coaches to be safe and protected so that they could finish out the season. They're going to be playing 8 games apiece to finish the regular season, and then they're going to start the NBA playoffs. So as you guys might guess, with the current climate of everything going on right now, there will be no fans allowed to the NBA games at all. That being said, the NBA is supposed to have interactive features for fans to be a part of the game, including things like social media, reactions of screens in the arena, and it should be pretty cool, but again, there will be no fans. There's only 22 teams that are going to the Orlando bubble that are there right now ready to play. Now, out of all of those teams, like I said, we're going to talk about who has the best chance to win the championship this year. Opening night, the big matchup, LA versus LA, which most people have their money on for winning the championship. It's going to be an exciting time, and it's going to be interesting to see how this whole bubble works and how everything's going to happen this year. The NBA playoffs are supposed to start mid-August, and the NBA finals will be finished by no later than October 16th. To me, there are 2 huge factors that are going to be the most likely factors to determining who's going to be the NBA champion. Number 1, there is no home court, no fans, no distractions. This means it will be a new experience for all players in the NBA. It's basically like going to the gym with your buddies, playing a pickup match with some other guys at the gym. It's going to be really weird for fans to watch, but it's exciting that we are all going to be experiencing something new together, including the NBA players. The players are going to be tested unlike ever before in their careers. The players are going to be away from friends, family, and there's no going back home to your house to sleep, to see your loved ones. It's all basketball now, all in. So for me, this is going to be huge because there's no familiarity. The players aren't going to be used to this. It's just team versus team, 5 versus 5. Factor number 2 is that it will come down to the star players more than ever before. Because there are not going to be fans or distractions like going out, doing your normal routines, everything is going to be mostly the focus on the court. That means just like a pickup game, whoever has the best players is more than likely to win. That's always been the case in the NBA. Most of the time, whoever has the best top 5 players in the NBA, that one of those teams is going to win the championship. But think about this. Think about all the home court, the momentum, all the atmosphere, everything going against you, whether you're at home or on the road. None of that's going to be happening now. It is going to be a raw product where the NBA star players should shine more than ever. What we are going to be seeing is strictly basketball, one-on-one, star player versus star player. Yes, there's going to be a team there, but this is going to be a huge challenge for the star players to prove who really is the best. But let's get to the real point. Who are the real contenders? Who's going to win the 2020 NBA championship? Now that the games are going to be played in the bubble, the biggest names are going to be put front and center for everybody to see. So who has the best chance? We all have our ideas of who has the best shot. Based off of what has happened this year, I think it's pretty simple, and it's going to come down to these 3 teams as the most likely to win the championship. The 3 major contenders I have are, yes, the Los Angeles Lakers themselves, the Los Angeles Clippers, and the Milwaukee Bucks out in the East. Yes, I think those are the 3 teams that are the most likely to win the NBA championship, but those aren't the only ones yet. These 3 teams arguably have the best players in the league, and with our current format of the bubble, I think it most likely is going to favor these 3 teams. To win the NBA championship this year, you're going to have to play through your star players more than ever before. And who do these three teams have? LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, George Paul, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Those names right there are ticket sellers, sneaker sellers, NBA sellers. If everyone on those teams stay healthy, I do honestly believe that we'll see a Milwaukee versus an LA NBA Finals. It's just a matter of who's going to win that LA matchup. In my personal opinion, I think Giannis is the best player in the NBA currently right now. But again, what happened last year when he played the Raptors? They got demolished in 6 games. The reason I say demolished is, if you remember, they were actually up 2-0 against Toronto, and then they shut down Giannis. He couldn't make a jump shot. They kept him out of the paint. They were shut down. If the Milwaukee Bucks want to win a championship this year, then he's got to step it up, and he's got to take his game to another level and be able to enforce his will and drive to the bucket and hit open shots and create his own shots. Now, of course, the 2 LA teams, which most people are picking either of those 2 teams to win the championship this year. It's pretty simple. The Lakers have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. The Clippers have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. But all of that being said, I think there's one major factor that a lot of people aren't remembering. LeBron James has had almost 5 months of rest, and he didn't play in the playoffs last year. I've given LeBron a lot of flack in the past about his performances in the finals and playoffs, but a rested and hungry LeBron James is going to be a nightmare to deal with for other teams. And LeBron James has Anthony Davis, who's one of the top players in the NBA in his own right. Anthony Davis has not been that far in the playoffs before, but he does have LeBron James who's been mentoring him and teaching him the ways to win. When LeBron James is fully healthy and fully engaged, he's unstoppable. If I had to choose a favorite right now, I think the Los Angeles Lakers are the most likely team to win. And yes, most people think that, but there's good reason. As I said, LeBron is rested, he's hungry, he's heard a lot of criticism more than ever in his career over the last 2 seasons, and I guarantee you he's ready to shut everybody up. As I said before, due to the fact that there won't be any fans in the arenas, it's just strictly 5 versus 5, or if you really want to get down and be serious, it's superstar versus superstar. If you're telling me you put somebody on the court, LeBron James versus Kawhi Leonard, I have LeBron James. LeBron James versus Paul George, I have LeBron James. I think Antetokounmpo is the best player in the league, but 1v1 against a healthy, rested, hungry LeBron James, I have LeBron James. Now, of course, despite it being a bubble and there being no fans, we don't really know what's going to happen. It could be just like the regular playoffs, and some people who don't perform won't perform. Some people who do perform will perform. That leads me into my next point, which is actually my wildcard teams. Now, I have 4 of those. I love my Dallas Mavericks, but I don't think they're ready to make a playoff run. But these 4 teams I do have pegged as dark horses, and you never know what can happen. These teams will be a threat. They are the Boston Celtics, the Denver Nuggets, the Toronto Raptors, and, yes, the Houston Rockets. And I will be making more videos about these teams as the playoffs progress. But with that being said, I think my least likely option is probably the Houston Rockets. They have so much talent, and James Harden can carry a team, and so can Russell Westbrook, and them playing together has been pretty cool to see this year. But again, if you're an NBA fan, you already know why I doubt that they'll win a chip. No one knows the real reason. It could be mindset, it could be anything. But if you face the facts, James Harden in the biggest moments in the playoffs has choked. He doesn't show up when they need him the most. He has turnovers, he bricks 3-point shots, and he has not made that jump as the number 1 guy to get his team to the finals. Until James Harden proves that he can do that in the playoffs, I don't see them as a potential threat. Yes, he has Russell Westbrook, and I think they're going to make a lot of noise in the playoffs. Will they win the chip? That's only going to happen if James Harden can get over his playoff, whatever you call it, and he can take that next step to be a real superstar and lead his team to the finals. If we can see James Harden take down the Clippers, the Lakers, or both, then yes, I would have some even more respect for him. But again, until he does it, I just don't buy it. Now, I do have the Celtics as a really big dark horse because remember, they're out in the East. Yes, last year the Bucks beat the Celtics in 5 games, but if you remember, what was the big reason they lost that series? If you watched that series last year, they had Kyrie Irving and he was just a nightmare in that locker room. They did not mesh well together at all. Now they have Kemba Walker in the locker room, who they're getting along with much more. The offense is flowing a lot better. Everybody's making their shots. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are taking another step forward. And if you think back a couple years ago, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown played out of their minds in the NBA playoffs against LeBron James. They definitely have the potential, and if they can take it up another notch, they could possibly take out the Bucks. And if you just get to the finals, you never know what can happen. That being said, keeping it out in the East, the Toronto Raptors. Yes, the Raptors lost Kawhi Leonard, but have you seen what they've done this year? I'm not just talking about their record. They play so well as a unit and as a team. They brought back so many players from that championship team, and they have the experience from last year, so you can't count them out. They still are a threat. Now, going back out west, I already talked about the Rockets, but there's one more team, the Denver Nuggets. The recent surge of Bol, not to mention Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, they can make some noise. If everybody plays to their fullest abilities, they can upset some teams. Now, I'm not saying that Denver has the same talent level as the 2 LA teams, but overall as a unit, collectively, their whole team is very, very good, and they could make some noise. Again, guys, these 4 teams are just my wild cards. They're just teams that I think could possibly, if things happen right, you never know what can happen, they have an outside chance. Now, personally, I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan, and I would love to see my Mavericks upset everybody and win it all, but to be realistic, I don't think they have an actual chance, not this year anyway. Guys, I'm looking forward to see how everything turns out and who will step up in this really weird year to win the championship. Guys, make sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think will happen. What are your predictions? Who do you think's gonna win? If you think I'm wrong, please explain why. I love to hear the debates. I love to hear everybody's opinion. At the end of the day, none of us knows what's going to happen, and it's going to be fun to watch. Guys, remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell to see more videos in the future. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next one.